In this question, we're given a table of values that represents the total cost of printing a certain number of programs. Then we're asked to determine an equation that represents this relationship and then to show our work. The important piece of information here is that we're told that it is a linear relationship. So we know the equation is going to be in the form y equals mx plus b. Or in our case, C equals mn plus b. Because C is the dependent variable and n is the independent variable. Now, as always, m would represent the slope and b would represent the c-intercept. So if we can find values for slope and c-intercept, we'll have our equation. Let's solve it first algebraically, and then we'll confirm the answer graphically. Okay, so slope m is a measure of the change in c divided by the change in n. So let's pick a couple of points and look at the difference between the values. So for C, to get from 220 to 250, the difference would be $30. And the difference to get from 350 to 500 would be 500 minus 350, or 150 programs. And here the zeros would cancel. 3 goes into itself once, 3 goes into 15 5 times, so our slope, or rate of change, is 1/5. Now, because this is a linear relationship, it doesn't matter which 2 points we pick. We could have picked these 2 points, or we could have picked these 2 points. The answer should always be the same. Let's confirm that. Let's take this away here and look at, say, these 2 points and see what we get. So to get from 250 to 300, that would be 300 minus 250, or $50. And then to get from 500 to 750, it would be 750 minus 500, or 250 programs. Again, we can cancel the zeros. 5 goes into itself once, 5 goes into 25 5 times. We end up with the same rate of change. Or, if you wanted to, you could pick the first and last points and see what you get. So quickly, the change in C would be 300 minus 220, or $80, and the change in N would be 750 minus 350, or 400 programs. Again, the zeros cancel. 8 goes into itself once, 8 goes into 45 times. The slope, or rate of change, is 1/5 again. Now all we have to do is find a value for B, and we'll have our equation. We can see that we have values for C. If we pick, say, this first point here, we'll have a value for C. We know what M is now, it's 1/5, and we know what N is, it's this value here, if we pick that first point. So if we plug those values into the equation, here, we'll be able to solve for B. So let's write our equation here. C equals mn plus b. And we're going to choose this first point here for our values for C and N. So N for C here goes 220. N for M goes 1/5. N for N goes 350. And then we solve for B. So this means here 1/5 times 350, so we can cancel this out. 5 goes in there once, 5 goes into there 70 times. So this would become 220 equals 70 plus B. So I have to get rid of the 70, so I'll subtract 70 from both sides. So if I just bump up here, it will be 220 minus 70 equals 70 minus 70 plus b. Here the 70s would cancel out, and 220 minus 70 is 150 equals b. Again, I could have picked any of these points here for values for c and n, and I'd get the same answer. We won't do that now, but you could try it if you want. So now that I know m and b, I can just substitute those into the equation, and I'll have the equation of the relationship. So the answer is c equals 1/5 n plus 150. Now let's confirm the answer graphically. Let's pick some points here. I'll put a couple of axes down. That would be our c-axis and our n-axis. And we need to pick some points on here, so let's make that 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, etc. And we'll try to pick an appropriate point for the c-axis here. So let's say each one is 25, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be 100 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 200, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 300, etc. So if we had 350 programs, the cost would be $220. So we can go to 350 would be about here, 220 would be all the way up to about, just about there. And for 500 programs, we'd have a cost of $250. So there's 500. So 250 would be 200, 25, 50, about there. And finally, for 750 programs, the cost would be $300. So 750 is about here, and then the cost would be $300. So we go all the way up to here. Then we draw a straight line through these points as best we can. And we can see that the line crosses here, the c-axis, at 150. So we've confirmed our value for b. Now let's confirm our value for m. We can do that graphically by looking at the rise over the run. So if you pick those 2 points there, this would be the run, and this would be the rise. And m would be rise over run. And to get from here, 250, all the way up to 300, that's a rise of 50. And to get from 500 to 750, that's a run of 250. So if we simplify this, the zeros cancel out, 5 goes in there once, 5 goes in there 5 times, we have a slope of 1/5. And so we've confirmed our m value. Therefore we know the answer is c equals 1/5 n plus 150 as the equation of this relationship.